Hey there, I'm Nate from St. Louis, and this is one way I make bonsai pots. It's a ceramic technique called the Drape mold method. This is part 1, where I build the pot. Here's the tools I use. Some water and sponges and a brush, some slip, a wooden bowl for the mold, a banding wheel, a PVC pipe, slab rolling guides, a piece of canvas drop cloth from Home Depot, small handful of basic clay tools and a compass, some paper, some plastic boards, and some plastic wrap. Here's my process. First, I wedge up the clay. I'm using Kentucky Clay Works Red Brick Road clay. Start shaping it into a circle and begin flattening it out. I make sure to rotate the slab of clay so it doesn't stick to the canvas. Then I use these wooden strips as slab rolling guides and the PVC pipe as a rolling pin. I keep rotating and rolling until it's the right thickness. And I compress and smooth the clay surface with the rubber rib. And I use this basic compass to make a circle that's about the right size for this mold. I slide a plastic board under the slab. And I lay some plastic wrap on top of the clay. I put my mold on the plastic wrap, and I do my best to center it. Then I put some paper and another board on top. And I carefully flip the whole Johnny. Flip. I grab my banding wheel and put the clay and mold on top of it, upside down. I remove the canvas. I push the clay against the sides of the mold with my hands to get it close to the right shape. And then I use a metal scraper tool to further push the clay against the mold and even out the outer surface of the clay. Once I have the shape about right, I use the rubber rib to smooth it all out. I clean it up with a wet sponge. And I use a piece of copper pipe to cut a drainage hole. I don't show it in the video, but I use a hair dryer to lightly dry the clay surface so I can quickly move through the steps when I make these. Next, I make a coil, and I use that to create a rim around the top of the pot. Score and slip the edge of the pot, attach the coil. I use a wooden tool to connect the pieces. And I use my fingers to smooth it out. A wet sponge. For this pot's feet, I simply roll balls of clay and cut the clay spheres in half. And then I use those half spheres to create the 4 feet. I use my wooden tool to connect them to the pot. My fingers to help smooth it out, and a wet sponge to clean it all up. I use this flat board to even out the feet, making sure they're all about the same height. Then I flip the pot right side up and remove the mold and the plastic wrap. And using my wooden tool, I smooth out the top of the rim, clean up the space between the rim and the top of the pot. Then I smooth out the top of the rim and the edge with a wet sponge. Then I use this rasp to shave away extra clay around the outside of the rim to make it an even width. Then a wet sponge to clean up the scrape marks. I like to use a metal scraper to create channels on the inside walls of the pot because I once heard it helps encourage the roots to be happy. I like that idea. Then I use my fingers and a wet sponge to clean up the top edge. I put the paper on the board so it doesn't stick when I flip it. And now I flipped it upside down again and added wire holes in my signature. Now I'm just cleaning up those wire holes. And there you have it. A simple and lovely bonsai pot made using the drape mold method. Come back for part 2, where I apply surface treatment to this pot. Thanks a lot.